but I'm going to tell the story in English. So everyone listen carefully. If there is something you missed, you can raise your hand and ask. Ya, okay? Ibu saya in Indonesia aja not listen carefully gitu. Apalagi in English, Bu, tired. Enggak ya? Hopefully not. Okay. So we're going to learn about methodology today. Methodology of it that we're going to use in analysis and system design. So engineering method. Engineering method, we are, as you remember in introduction for industrial engineering, there are two kind of method, engineering method and scientific method. I truly hope that you still remember about this. Yeah, so in industrial engineering, we learn about two methods. First one is engineering method and the second is scientific method. You still remember what's the difference between those two? You can answer in Indonesia for regular student. Already forget? Okay, no problem. So I'm going to discuss about the different letters. First, now I'm going to introduce you to engineering method. Engineering method is a method to find a solution, from based on the needs, based on the stakeholder needs, yeah, and requirement, to do the design by collecting relevant data through observation, experimentations, and literature review to test and to build the prototype based on the concept solutions toward the problems. Yeah. So we can build and then test the solution whether it can achieve the expected performance. So what are we doing in engineering method here? I hope you still remember this picture. In the first phase, we're going to identify a problem. In engineering, in every industrial engineering issue, this is our first problem. First step, yeah, to always identify a problem. Therefore, I need you to learn to practice this skill. The skill to identify problem. This is where you can identify, where you acknowledge the ideal state, and then you know there is a gap between the ideal state and the reality. So for you to be able to recognize a problem, you have to know an ideal situations. Yeah. So when you see there is a gap between the reality and the ideal state, then there is a problem. Yeah. So in this state, in this phase, you should define scope of interest, or system of interest. Usually, we usually call that system of interest. You should also be able to identify the symptoms of the problem. And then again, you must remember this, yeah. There is a difference between the problem, the illness, penyakitnya, with the symptoms. Like I got a cough, I have cough, my voice is not so clear, I easily lose my voice, for example. That's only symptoms. What's the real problem? What's the real illness? That is that you must find based on the symptoms. Most of the time, you can only see the symptoms. But to identify the problem, you must work harder and to analyze the symptom and then to get a conclusion what's the real problem is. You get it now? I hope you understand this, yeah. So you must be able to make distinction between symptoms and the real illness and the real problem, yeah. Most of the time, hopefully after this, it's not most of the time. It is sometimes I found student mention that a problem as a symptom as a problem. For example, the sales is fall. Ya, salesnya menurun. So at some point it can be a problem, but many times it's only indicating of an illness. indicating a problem, not the real problem. Low sales maybe not the real problem, but maybe there is a deeper problem that cause the lost sales or the sales that fall. Ya, penjualan yang menurun itu belum tentu belum tentu menjadi masalah utamanya. Tapi bisa jadi karena ada akar masalah yang menyebabkan penjualan suatu perusahaan menjadi lebih rendah. For example, another example is like now the economy is going weaker. Indonesian economy is weaker. The valuation, the currency is going down compared to USA. It may be a problem, but many times it's not the real problem. It's only the symptoms. Based on the symptoms, we can diagnose the causes. Okay. Yeah. Then on the second phase, we can do background research. Yeah, this is where we investigate the preliminary evidence. So we must identify and then find the evidence, not only based on our observation. So this observation, our initial observation, only show us about the symptoms. Most of the time, it's like that. So to verify your symptoms, to validate your diagnosis, you must be able to find evidence. If you are in the hospital, then you will find doctors will test your blood, for example. Like they may find that you catch a cold, you got a fever and everything, but then they must test your blood. This is where the doctor find the evidence, yeah, to diagnose the real cause of your symptoms. It's also applied to engineering. You must find evidence by testing everything in the system element. Like for example, if you find there is maybe some issue, like for example, in manufacturing, in the production plant, there are a lot of product reject, for example. The quality control found there are a lot of defect product. The defect product is only a symptoms of the problem that lies deeper within the production line. So it may caused by many things. What do you think that cause product defect? Can you give me example? Apa yang menyebabkan product defect? Produk cacat. Anyone? Or should I call your name? Okay, get ready in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hakam, would you please tell me? Hakam, are you there? Hakam?
Yeah, Bu.
Yeah, okay, Hakam, could you please tell me if in a production plan you identify that there are the quality control found a lot of product defect. What do you think that caused the product defect?
Excuse me, Bu. I
Mm-mm.
didn't hear it clearly.
Okay, I will tell you. I will tell it in Indonesia, ya.
Yeah.
Okay, for example, yeah. So other student get ready, ya. I'm going to call your name. Get prepared, ya. So in a production di lantai produksi, Hakam menemukan bahwa banyak produk defect. What do you think that caused the product defect?
Maybe the quality, Bu.
Yeah, the quality, it's obvious that the product defect, the quality is low, or the quality cannot meet standard. What do you think that caused the quality of the product cannot meet the standard? What caused it? What is the cause? Penyebabnya apa?
Lack of quality of the material, Bu.
Who said that? I cannot see you.
Fadil, Bu.
Oh, Fadil. Okay, Fadil. Yeah. Like for example, the quality of the material may be low. Yeah, that's one example. Other cause maybe?
Maybe bad quality control.
You think so? Anyone agree with bad quality control? What do you mean by bad quality control, Hakam? Can you please elaborate? Contohnya, boleh dikasih contoh in Indonesia if you want.
Ya.
Ya, bad quality control. Quality control tuh kan usually their role is to check whether there is product defect or not. Iya kan ya? So usually the quality control rarely have mereka punya, they only tell you that you have this defect product, but they hardly can control the production plant. So biasanya atau dari yang lain, maybe Kezia, what's the cause? What can cause product defect in production plant? Kezia? Kezia, you there? Kezia. Saya bisa menunggu sampai besok lusa, Kezia. Ya, kita tunggu Kezia sampai hadir ya, teman-teman. Oke. Barangkali Cindy bisa dipanggilkan Kezia, Cindy. Cindy. Cindy.
Ya, Bu.
Kezianya ada.
Hadir, Bu, hadir.
Ya, Kezia. Bisa tolong dicarikan contoh. Kalau gejala-gejala ini. Kalau di rantai produksi penyebab gagal cacat produk apa? Ada yang bisa bantu yang lain?
Mungkin menurut saya tidak sesuai OSP.
Tidak sesuai SOP. So the process does it, the process conducted not following SOP, for example. Okay, good. Not following the procedure, yeah. So there is a problem with the process. So those are the so the symptom is the product defect. That what can causes? There are many causes that can produce product defect. For example, the material quality is low. Tadi ya Fadil bilang. And then maybe the process doesn't follow the procedures. Then those are the possible cases. But then you have to investigate the evidence. Is it true that the material, the raw material quality is low? Is that true that the process is not conducted following the SOP, the standard procedure? So you have to collect this evidence. You cannot just justify based on your argument, your perspective. You have to find your evidence. And then based on your evidence, you're going to check it based on the theoretical study. Yeah, the theoretical fundamental. What's said by the theoretical fundamentals? Is it true that bad SOP implementation can cause product defect? And then what's the parameter, for example? Then you break down the problem based on your evidence and the theoretical fundamentals. And then here you can find, and then in the first and the third phase, you can specify the requirements by defining the objectives, specify requirements, and then plan program schedule. So this is your homework, another challenge. Like you can see, this seems easy, but most of the time students cannot even specify the requirements. I don't know why. And then generate the idea and design concept using drawing, schematics. You already learned all of this. At this point, you already learned gambar technique, yeah. And then you already learn about the models, a few models, yeah, and the algorithm. You know, you already made hypothetical statement. This is where you generate idea and design concept. and then you build the prototype for your ideas and then do experiments. So here is another thing about engineering method. Most of the time on your final project or design project, student only stop until this phase. Cuma berhenti sampai di fase 4, generate idea dan mendesain konsep, tapi tidak mengembangkan solusi dan tidak menguji solusi. Most of the time, student doesn't develop and test their solutions. So you end up like just the government. You only give solution without testing your solutions. And then there is chaos, for example. Yeah. So in engineering, make sure you build your prototype and then do experiment and test your solution to prove that your solution is worked, or it is work under certain circumstance or under certain conditions. Yeah, this phase 5 is important. Bu, bikin prototype kan mahal. Prototyping is maybe expensive, but then you can build a simple prototype just to show the functions, or you can use simulations, for example. You in here you are going to taught how to develop skill to develop simulations on experimentations. So you don't have excuse that the prototyping experiment is expensive. No. Yeah. So remember, you have to give evidence that your idea is tested. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna show you a lot of tools and approach. This is the basic process of engineering design. In analysis and design. Sorry, in analysis and design system, you must learn about how to engineering a design. This is the step. These are the steps to identify, define, brainstorm, select, prototype. Yeah, this is the following steps. You must follow these steps. I must underline this, that you have to meet the desired need. Jadi kalian harus mampu untuk di desain kalian, pastikan bahwa kalian bisa memenuhi kebutuhan dan spesifikasi yang diharapkan oleh stakeholder kalian, oleh user kalian, within constraints. I must again emphasize this, bahwa kalau kalian mendesain itu harus ada constraint-nya, baru jadi masalah. Jadi masalah kompleks. Kalau kalian bikin sesuatu nggak ada batasannya, when you make things and there is no constraint, and you have no limitation in designing, in realizing your idea, then there is no problem with it. Ya, understand ya? Oke, Jovan? Jovan? On? Jovan? Halo? Oke. Jovan masih hidup? Salah. Jovan masih on? Baik. Nanti ini diingat-ingat ya. You must remember this because else you know that the test, it's so a shame actually to use test as your motivation gitu kan. Paham, ingat-ingat bahwa ya apa yang menjadi penekanan di sini, nanti tesnya closed book. Ya, UTS-nya closed book. So you must be prepared. Yeah, you must be prepared with your concept, with your notes on your PowerPoint. Okay. So in developing ideas, we can also use this approach using design thinking. The idea is to empathize. Jadi pertama kita harus bisa berempati kepada stakeholder kita. To learn about stakeholders from whom you are designing. Di APS nanti, kalian akan mendesain untuk orang lain. Ingat-ingat ya, Kalian akan mendesain untuk orang lain. Jadi berempatilah pada orang lain itu. Tidak semua orang mungkin sepinter kalian. Tidak semua orang sepinter kalian sehingga bisa kemudian mengoperasikan interface yang kompleks, misalnya seperti itu. So you must remember your user, that not all your user is as smart as you are. So they can be able to develop or to use a complex interface, for example, or to understand a complex interface. Ya, nggak semua orang itu seperti itu. And maybe you also must notice some of your user may be blind color, for example, color blind. So your colorful interface may be not useful enough to differentiate menu, for example. Yeah, understand your user. You must understand the empathize to your user and your stakeholder situations. Not all of your user may be as rich as you, so maybe a very simple devices. They cannot afford very simple or devices, for example. So you must understand your user again. And then define, create a point of view that is based on user needs and insight. So I must again emphasize this ya. Kebanyakan dari kita akan mendesain berdasarkan perspektif kita. Kan kita yang desain, Bu. Suka-suka kita dong. Itu bedanya kalian dengan seniman. Ya. So as an engineer, you must design based on your stakeholder needs and requirements, based on your user needs and requirements. You're going to define your solution based on their needs and requirement. You are not an artist. So if you're an artist, you can design everything based on your preference and everything. But as an engineer, you must design everything based on your stakeholder needs and requirements. They may have not enough knowledge as much as you, but you must consider their needs and requirement. Understand ya? I want to emphasize that. So, desainnya itu tidak berdasarkan kebutuhan kalian, tidak berdasarkan preferensi kalian, tapi berdasarkan kebutuhan dan requirement dari stakeholder dan user kalian. Itu yang mau saya ceritakan. Nah, sistem engineering. Di sistem engineering ini salah satu pendekatan yang kita butuhkan saat kita mau mendesain sistem. APS, Analysis dan Design System, Analysis and System Design, tujuannya adalah untuk the goal, the aim is to engineer a system. Yeah, this case is information system. So it is an interdisciplinary approach and means. Yeah. So remember again, it is an interdisciplinary approach, not only based on informatics, but you must also consider human and knowledge, science, and maybe science knowledge, and then maybe math include in it. So this is interdisciplinary approach and means. To enable realization of successful system, focus on defining customer needs. Customer needs. Because I often found, ya seringkali saya masih menemukan sistem informasi, that information system are developed based on your knowledge, not customer needs. Saya tahunya ini, Bu, this is all I know. But your knowledge may be not enough to accommodate the customer need. This is where you must learn by yourself, yeah. And require functionality early in the development cycle. So documenting requirements. So you have to document the requirements and then proceeding with the design synthesis and doing system validations. So you validate the system that you developed while considering the complete problem. See, a lot of things to be considered in your system designed. Yeah, not only one or two things, but the complete problems, including several parameters and variables. Yeah, operations, performance, test, manufacturing, cost, and schedule. This is what makes industrial engineering and system engineering is a complex system, because you must consider these things all together. Ya, Bu kalau nggak kompleks gimana? Ya, SMA aja yang ngerjain, vokasi aja yang ngerjain. Ngapain anak engineering ngerjain? Tuh. Bu, saya maunya sederhana aja, Bu. I want a simple problem. My life is already full of problems soalnya. Enggak ya. This is your job as a system engineer. Ya. It integrates all the disciplines and specialty group, forming a structure and development process. This is the thing, is that is system engineer. You don't have to work by yourself. You can work by, because you may not know all of the stuff. Then maybe you must ask for help from other discipline. Jadi kalian sebenarnya bisa minta tolong ke departemen lain untuk membantu pekerjaan kalian, konsult pekerjaan kalian ke informatika, ke mesin, ke elektro misalnya. Ya. Tuh. So here's another definition again. This definition also emphasize interdisciplinary approach, transdisciplinary, and integrative approach. So you must understand that this involve you to have a lot of knowledge. Ya, kalau pengetahuannya kurang, belajar lagi. Kalau pengetahuannya kurang, nggak cukup buat jadi system engineer. Then discovering and understanding stakeholder. Sorry. So this is the life cycle. Oke, ini adalah salah satu, this is one of capaian pembelajaran, learning outcome yang akan diukur life cycle dari suatu sistem. Diingat-ingat ya. Aman, Zevanya? Zevanya masih hidup?
Aman, Bu.
Oke. Apa yang harus diingat-ingat, Zeva?
Cycle dari sistemnya.
Ya, life
Terus
cycle.
harus ya
Ya,
mengerti sama user.
oke, nanti dilengkapi nyatanya ya. Jadi life cycle ini masuk dalam capaian pembelajaran yang akan diukur. Kalian akan diminta untuk memahami life cycle itu, life cycle dari sistem itu seperti apa bentuknya. Ada banyak perspektif life cycle di sini. Life cycle berdasarkan NASA, for example, it has a formulation stage, including pre-phase, a concept studies, phase, a concept and technology development, phase B, preliminary design, dan seterusnya. Kemudian masuk implementation, jadi dua ya, formulation and implementation stage. In which in each stage itu ada setiap phase-nya. Ini life cycle based on NASA definition. This is the life cycle based on INCOSE definitions. Yeah, consists of the first block here, where you as a system designer, you must formulate the mission analysis based on the stakeholder needs and requirement, and then based on this, you develop the system requirements and build the logical architecture and realize it into physical architecture. And this is applied to the system interest of your study. These are the fee model. It is also life cycle processes. So you can see here, there are a lot of life cycle description and definition based on from different perspective. Yeah. So we will start with the system life cycle here. Start with the system development process. Yeah. So life cycle stage for a system start from a system development process, and then this is ideally using a system development methodology, then convert into a system operation and maintenance. So you realize it, you build it, you make it into infrastructure, and then the system runs, and you do a maintenance with the system that you already built. Yeah. This is using the system's chosen information technology. This is the system life cycle. In APS, we start with system analysis, and then based on our analysis, we build or we design the system. How is it going to operate, and how does the system that we design will solve the problem? Okay. In the system analysis, we will develop activities that enable a person, the user, to understand and specify what the new system should accomplish. So you have this existing system with, and you analyze this existing system, the current system, and check what improvement or what's the problem that exists within the system, and what the new system that you're going to design must accomplish. Then you design the system and you think about how it will operate. You design the architecture of the system, you build the architecture, yeah, to enable the person to describe in detail how the resulting information system will actually be implemented. Yeah, so this is the methodology of system development. System development methodology. So we have Indonesian version and English version here. So you can read here that it is a formalized approach to the system development process, a standardized process that includes activities, methods, best practice deliverables, and automated tools. Yeah, in terms of our information system architecture, it is a unifying framework into which various stakeholders with different perspectives can organize and view the fundamental and so on. This methodology. So I need you to understand that there is a standard methodology to develop a system that you must follow. Yeah. So and you can develop the system based on specification or by prototyping. Yeah. When you build or you develop a system by specifications, so you basically analyze and design a system through a pictorial representations, yeah, and specify, build the blueprint of the system constructions. Yeah, so it is small scale representative of your system. You can build it very simple. You can draw it even, yeah, and by specifications. Itu kalau misalnya gambar teknik itu seperti mendesain based by specifications. As long as kalian menggambarnya mulai dari awal ya, tanpa ada contoh-contohan, tanpa ada contekan di awal. Then by prototyping, you basically analyze and design a system through functional application. So you build a prototype to demonstrate the function of your system. Ya, kalau ini adalah spesifikasi detail, like detail specification like the measures, but here you try to build the functions using prototype. Tuh. I'm not going to tell you this. You can tell this. You can read it by yourself. Perkembangan metodologi sistem. So this is the general methodology for system development, including system planning, analysis, design, implementation, and maintenance. Please remember this. Take note and memorize this. I don't need you to understand. Like it's better if you understand it, but at least memorize this. Yeah, that's the least you can do. Memorize. I prefer you understand this. I prefer you can imagine what we are doing here. But if you cannot do all of the stage above, at least memorize. That's the easiest thing you can do. Yeah. System planning, analysis, design, implementations, and then maintenance. That's the flow. Yeah. In the system planning, we observed and we conduct a preliminary study to understand the importance of the system. This is including setting the system boundary and make development to build planning, yeah, to make a plan. And then we analyze the system. This is where we analyze the system domain to identify the system element, the problem, the needs, the opportunity. Opportunity means that when you feel like your system is already good enough and you can't find any problem with it, this is where you must find an opportunity of improvement. What in the future, for example, what can be improved, what must can be done by my system? Although my system is now already good, what is the opportunity for improvement in the future? Yeah, this is what it means by opportunity. And then you must also analyze or determine the objective and the direction of the development. Yeah. And after you analyze, you design the system using the system modeling. You can build a conceptual model and software engineering. And then you implement the system. This is where you install the system. Sorry. Okay. And then operate the system. And then to apply the system into like this, we talk about information system, yeah. We talk about information system where you apply the system, your information system into your business process. And then while implementing it, you can do system maintenance. Yeah, this is where you maintain and you fix the system if there is, or you doing troubleshooting, for example. This is the cycle, the general methodology of system development. Initiation, system planning, and then analyze, system design, system maintenance, system analysis, until you can actually come back here or keep doing improvement within the existing system. Yeah. Okay, system implementation. This is like basically the process that you are doing in the system development process. Yeah. These are some of approach and methodology that you will learn later on future classes, yeah, on other classes where you can develop and design a system. One is FAST methodology. This is a framework for the application of system thinkings. This is where you identify the scope definition, problem analysis, and everything here. These are the items. And check on which phase are you on now. This is the output of every step. You can read it by yourself later. These are also stages, the deliverables, yeah, like this here. These are the process, and then this is the detailed process, and this is the expected output or deliverables of each step. Yeah, each step. This is the details. You can read it again later. When you put it into engineering method, so this initiation is on the first phase, and then system concept development and planning is on do background research. Yeah, this is the mapping. So basically, when you design every system, whether you use information system or any kind of system, you will use engineering method or later scientific method. Yeah. So every framework will fit into this. Okay. So actually in this slide, we usually always have a lot of slides. We give you a lot of perspectives and framework that you can use to solve a problem. Yeah. So you learn one, you try to mix and you try to adopt and understand each of the framework. Then this is the medal Okay. This is important as well. This is the methodology to develop information system. So we're going to study about the methodology to develop information system. This is the model. We name it waterfall model. This is the framework. This is where you do a complete system planning and then doing complete system analysis, system design, and system implementation. What's in it? So the ideal is that it will go smooth, yeah. But most of the time, we must do recheck again. It never flows linearly. You must come back again to the previous step to check whether the system requirement fits to the stakeholder requirement and needs. Whether your design fits to the system requirement and needs and your planning. You must come back, always come back to the previous step to check the alignment between step. Yeah, it is an iterative or incremental model. So you must usually have iteration 1 and then you fix it again, back you continue to iteration 2. So you're basically doing the similar thing but improved. So basically doing similar thing but in a better way. Yeah. A lot of approach. There is no standard approach here. Like you can actually doing in parallel. When you're doing in groups, you can build system in parallel. You have sub project, for example, and then combine it everything all together in the end. So this is. So I'm going to show you also like there is a lot of framework of system development life cycle. Start from plan, analyze, design, develop, implement, maintain. All of these are correct. And basically they have the same or similar element. Yeah. Start from planning, system analysis, system design, implementations, and maintenance. Basically things like that. Or this more specific. This is more specific. We start from design analysis or doing redesigning. Oh, sorry. We start from requirements and then redesigning and then implementation, construction, and so on. Yeah. So this the gray part is where we do the operation part, the implementation of the system. We do the runtime analysis. We sometimes do adjustment. We always do monitoring and execute, and sometimes also doing migrations when new system involved. Yeah. Okay, then we conduct rapid prototyping to check whether the function that we are design is actually can solve the problem. After prototyping, we sometimes do throwaway prototyping. This is where your system might not work, and then you must do re-prototyping. And so this is the alternative methodology that you can use later. But in the practicum, the practical exercise later, you learn only one, I think. Only one framework, yeah, to develop system information system. Any questions up to here? Anyone? Tired already? Still on? Okay, review. Badia, you there? Badia, I want you to mention the system life cycle. Badia?
Ya, Bu, bisa, Bu.
Ya, tolong Badia disebutkan sistem life cycle. Apa aja? Siklus hidup sistem. Apa ya? Mbak Dia. Novel. Ini pahalanya di saya doang nih kayaknya nih. Pahala puasanya. Jovan masih ingat nggak Jovan?
Untuk sistem life cycle-nya Bu, yang pertama planning, itu bagian merancang sistemnya Bu. Terus yang kedua ada analyzing, sistem analyzing. Terus yang ketiga ada designing the system. Terus yang keempat ada implementation atau sistem implementation. Dan yang terakhir ada maintenance-nya Bu.
Oke, good. Ya, itu antara lain salah satu framework dari sistem metodologi pengembangan di sistem ya. Oke, thank you Jovan. Saya lanjut ke Syafiq. Syafiq.
Hadir Bu.
Hadir. Oke, Syafiq, coba dijelaskan. Metodologi pengembangan sistem informasi yang barusan saya sebut pakai apa, Syafiq? Modelnya apa namanya? Cara gini, buka PPT-nya, buka PPT-nya. Yang mana, yang mana? Modelnya apa namanya? Modelnya? Namanya waterfall model ya. Waterfall model namanya. Oke, nanti tugas kalau gitu ya. Coba dicari tahu waterfall model itu apa sih? Tahapannya apa saja? Dispesifikan ya. Waterfall model. Itu nanti kalian akan pelajari tahapan selanjutnya di praktikum. Bukan kalian akan gunakan di praktikum nanti. Tuh. Nah, sekarang kita masuk ke stakeholder pengembangan sistem informasi. When we develop information system, who are going to be our stakeholder? We must be able to identify who our stakeholder are. Yeah, so the stakeholder is required to understand their operational needs. Yeah, so there are two things about stakeholder. One, you must understand their needs. Mereka butuh apa sih? Dari sistem yang kita kembangkan, mereka butuh solusi seperti apa, what kind of solution they need. And then in terms of system information system, you must also understand their operational needs. Ya, sistem informasinya, how your system information system will accommodate their operations. Tuh, makanya saya pernah bilang kemarin, first you in term of when you're building an information system or you're doing digitalization, then make sure that the business process already established. Make sure that the manual operation is already established. Just to check whether you can improve or you just make things complicated. So, most of the time, kalau sistem informasinya tidak mempertimbangkan operational existing, it only makes things complicated for the user. Ini nambah-nambahin kerjaan doang. Tuh, masalahnya ya. Jadi kita mesti memperhatikan, you must pay attention to the operational need-based requirements. So here, the system developers, including hardware engineering, software engineering, and specialty engineering, will develop the system. To provide the solutions to comply with the operational needs of the business. Yeah. So here we must understand the users who are going to be the user. There are direct users. This is the hands-on end users, such as operators and clerks who directly work with the system. And then there is indirect users. These are the system use the system indirectly through the reporters or output, and then managers. And then there is strategic and top levels. These are your potential users. Developers must recognize this type of users. Yeah. So these people have different requirement. Some needs a system information system to help them to make decisions. Some people just serve as the person who input the data and then process and output. Yeah. And then this information will be used to help people, usually managers and strategic and top level, to make a decisions. Okay. Stakeholder. So you have user and you have stakeholder. You must be able to differentiate this. So some are stakeholder and user altogether, but some people only serve as stakeholder, but maybe not a user, and user usually also serve as stakeholder. Yeah, you differentiate this. Yeah, you must be able to differentiate this between user and stakeholder. In terms of stakeholders, we have internal stakeholders, external, operational, executive. There are various perspectives when we think about stakeholders. This is another. And we also must consider information workers. These are any person whose job involves creating, collecting, processing, distributing, and using informations. Yeah. And knowledge worker, whose responsibilities are based on a specialized body of knowledge. And you must also recognize that the system owner, the system user, the system customer. System owner is the owner of the system. He is the one who manage and make decisions and fund the system development. Funding, yeah, provide funding for the system development. And the system user, nih. So you must be able to differentiate this. Ini system user, you must also know that these are the one who use indirect and indirectly your system. And the system customer, these are those people who get the benefit or other impact from your system. Yeah. Then when you solve a problem, when you design a system, you must recognize who's your owner, who's your user, who's the customer. Some people try to develop a problem. Like I often found students when they were asked, who are you going to solve your problem for? My operator. Okay. So who's the owner of the problem? My operator. Yes, the operator have problem, but who's the system owner? Yeah. Jadi this is require different solution. So when you try to fix a problem from your user based on when the user is also the system owner, then you can only modify without any funding usually. Yeah. You can only fix a very little aspect from the system. But if your owner is the manager, it usually has the funding, you can fix many things in the system. You have more resources to fix the system, to design the system. Therefore, you must understand who's the owner, the user, and the customer. Yeah. There is distinction between those. You here serve as the system designer, else and also the system builder and system analyst. Yeah. Okay. This is the description of each role in the system development. And This is one perspective of stakeholders. These are the onion model of stakeholders, where it illustrates the closeness level, the importance closeness level of each stakeholder toward the problem domain. Yeah, sometimes not all of stakeholder expecting the system successful. Some stakeholder may get negative impact. So this is the model. This model is very useful to understand what stakeholder get what kind of impact or benefit that will obtain by each stakeholders. Yeah. Now we're moving to the system information architecture. This is where we understand about the knowledge, process, and communications. So system information include knowledge, process, and communications. Yeah. In the knowledge, we describe about the material aspect involving data, information, and knowledge. Still remember what's the difference between data, information, and knowledge? Yeah. Last time. Osta? Osta, what's the difference between data, information, and knowledge?
Gimana Bu?
Apa perbedaan antara data, informasi, dan knowledge?
Oh, kalau data itu masih mentahan Bu. Terus informasi itu kayak sudah apa ya Bu? Diolah, dicari tahu kebenaran faktanya seperti apa. Dan knowledge itu udah ilmu kita Bu.
Oke.
Emang oh iya.
Nanti dicek lagi ya PPT-nya. Semester yang PPT di materi 1, perbedaan antara data, informasi, dan knowledge. Ya. Hampir benar tadi, hampir benar. Masih baru dapat 70 lah kalau ujian. Ya. Kemudian kalau proses, here we get the process where we describe about the activity aspect including transaction, activity, process, function, and missions. And in the communication, we describe about in the interface. The interface include on input and output of the system. Yeah. Take note again ya. These are the system information architecture. Include knowledge, process, communications. And then we also have database, software, and also interface. Okay? Okay. Okay, Rio from IUP. Rio, are you there? Yes, okay. Could you please mention the element of the system information architecture I just, mentioned just now? What is the element of the system information architecture? There are 6. Yeah. Then, yes. Two more. Okay, nice. At least you got 4 from 6, yeah. We have database and also software. Yeah, good. Well done. Okay. Then these are the definitions you can read. I will send you later the English versions. Yeah. And then these are the stakeholder perspective toward knowledge. So in the system owner's view, it's not only that it has interest on the raw data, but also it is also that it is important to give information and important knowledge. So the system owner view, the role of the system owners wants to have not only raw data, but also information and knowledge to help them to make a good decision. Yeah. In system user view, they see data as a material, recorded material, and then they will collect it and then we will organize it into spreadsheet and save it. So basically, those stakeholder who has interest on your information on knowledge is the system owner, the managerial level. So you build a system information to help managerial level, to help decision maker in your company to make a good decisions in terms of their business process. Yeah. What about the user view? You help them to record, to organize, to collect the data, to extract the data, and to save the data. This is the perspective of the stakeholder within the about knowledge, yeah. But in terms of your view, this is your role, yeah, system designers, and sometimes you serve also as system builders. You have this interest in terms of to structure the data, to make a database camp, and also the challenges, yeah. And in terms of the database design, including data structures, database schemas, fields, and etc. And for system builders view, you're going to handle the development of database system, including data type, table, query, DBMS, or other data technologies. So I also in this PowerPoint I also mentioned about the stakeholder perspective related to process. Previously, stakeholder perspective related to knowledge, and these are related to the process. You must understand this, yeah. Must understand this, and then communications on different perspective. So like it helps you to empathize to your stakeholder, yeah. Here, the first step. You must know what they want. So we here give you clue. Like here, you need to empathize about what your user want, but what your stakeholder wants. So therefore, this is your clue. This is your clue. Your hints. Tunjuk yang bisa kalian gunakan. Apa sih sebenarnya yang diharapkan dari setiap stakeholder terkait dengan knowledge, communication, dan proses tadi. Ya. Nanti dicek ya satu-satu ya. I'm about to lose my voice already. Nah, this is communication and these are the ini. Okay, last. We have a very few. Nah, so these are the principles to develop the system informations. It must involve all of the stakeholder, including especially user and owner simultaneously. The ideal condition is for you to collect all of them together on one table and discuss their system requirement and needs. Yeah. To avoid this miscommunication and misunderstanding. So you have to sit together with them all together. So there will be miscommunication because sometimes the language used by the managerial is different with the operation. So you must make sure that they use the same language, they use the same terminology, and that what they're talking about have the same meaning within each other. So the ideal is to sit together with all of them. Yeah. The second principle is to use the solving problem approach. Yeah. Is to learn and to understand the problem and the context. And to define the needs and also the suitable solutions. Like you understand the problem, but for different contexts, it may need different requirement. Yeah. For example, permasalahan recording financial report untuk UMKM yang kliennya adalah yang customernya langsung ke konsumen, jual pisang goreng misalnya, jual mie ayam misalnya. dan UMKM yang kliennya adalah industri. Sama-sama laporan keuangan. Laporan keuangan yang belum terdokumentasi dengan baik, misalnya. Tapi yang satunya, dia pendapatannya didapatkan dari end customer yang dia jualan langsung ke end customer. Sementara yang satunya, UMKM-nya, dia jual part komponen ke bisnis lain. Then the same problem, different context, the solution will be different. So therefore you have to understand the problem and also the context. It must be clear, yeah. And then you must be able to identify the alternative solution and choose. Here again, once again, here, not only one solutions, but you must be able to develop alternative solution. Bu, I can only develop one solution, but I think this is the best solutions. No. The history already showed that there is no best, there is only better. And you can always find better if you made different alternative. Yeah. You can compare this compared to this. Oh, this one is better. Okay, what about this? Compare again. Oh, this one is better. So you must have alternative solution. You may only find one problem, one context, but only for this problem, you must be able to develop alternative solutions. Here again, this is where you need to brainstorm. Kayak kalau saya bilang, masih muda, banyakin pengalaman mainnya yang jauh. Biar ini idenya banyak. Ya, harapannya kan seperti itu. Biar idenya banyak keluarnya. Bisa membuat hubungan antar konteks, bisa mengembangkan solusi-solusi yang kreatif, alternatif solusi. Dan kemudian bisa mengembangkan assessment-nya. I need you to do that, ya. Banyak-banyakin ikut atau mengembangkan atau ikut aktivitas atau bahkan bikin aktivitas sendiri. Iya, PR-nya. Lalu menentukan, after that, one, ini must involve all of stakeholders simultaneously. And second principle, you must be able to use a problem-solving approach. And then the third step is to be able to develop activities. Ya, activity planning, including preliminary investigation. Ini apa yang mau diinvestigasi? What are you going to investigate here? And then you must be able to do problem analysis. How are you going to analyze the problem? And what are you going to analyze? And then after that, what's the requirement analysis? What's the decision analysis? Yeah. You must identify this variable parameter that you are going to observe. The object, the entity, who are you going to call? Who are you going to interview? Make a detailed descriptions of each activity. So this is very general, very generic, but you can actually elaborate each of these steps into more precise or describable activities. Yeah. And then make the standard. Here, there are documentation standard and the quality standard, including also alat bantu, software, yeah, for example, is standardized, using the standardized. And to make a standard of information system related with the information system, the thing about developing a solution is that you must refer to a certain standard. Kalian harus mengacu pada standar tertentu. Pada pengembangan desain sistem informasi, kalian mengacu pada sistem standarisasi dokumentasi, pada standar kualitas tertentu, pada standar alat bantu tertentu dan teknologi informasi, standar yang dijadikan acuan untuk pengembangan teknologi informasi. Pada solusi yang lain, nanti misalnya pada sistem human-machine interaction, for example, you must also refer to a certain standard. Find the standard. In designing a system, you must find the standard. Yeah, the ideal. Find the reference, find the literature, find the best practice use it as your standard. Find the quality standard ISO, for example, the standard operation procedures, for example. When you design a system, use certain standard as your preference. So kemudian after that, we are going to implement the system as the model. So we basically check the system feasibility, cost feasibility of the system implementation. So we assess the cost effectiveness, and then we also assess the risk. We also assess the strategic alignment with the company. And then we are not afraid to cancel or to revise a certain design, a certain aspect in the process. When we are doing evaluation toward the development, it is possible, there is always possibility that we might cancel the project because it's not worth to do. Or we must re-evaluate or make some cost adjustment or schedule adjustment if the scope of the project extended. Or we must also accept that our scope of the project might be reduced when the budget or the time is limited. And we must also be able to do job delegation and bekerja sama. Teamwork itu prinsip-prinsipnya. And also merancang to design a system for the development and for the changes. So the meaning, it means that our system that we are design must have flexibility and expandability, so that the developer can redesign the system, that able to respond and adapt to every changes in the business process or in the market. Now, these are the trap of system development. Important system development trap here, or the pitfall, jebakan Batman-nya. Jebakan Batman-nya adalah ini, sistem perspektif tadi. System perspective. There is always a possibility that the system description owned by system owner, the system requirement by system user, builder, it's all are different. So therefore you must make them sit together and talk about what they need. Are we talking about the same design? For example. And these are also the pitfall of the system development. What's shown from certain perspective of stakeholder, it may only show a very little compared to what's hidden. How come it's hidden? It may be because the ketidaktahuan, uninformed certain stakeholder regarding what's happened in the system. So you must be able to reveal what's hidden. And there is also some prediction, not prediction here. It means like hypothetical. Some hypothetics that it's not an actual. So each person have their partial knowledge, have a partial knowledge that it's not a complete knowledge. So everyone have different perspective, have different each person has different understanding about some object here. It turns out they only know partial of the object. So, and also these are the last, I think. that some perspective of certain stakeholder maybe have a conflict of interest. Conflict of interest toward the concept, toward this principle of the system as a whole. Like this, for example, like we want to save all Bahtera-Nuh ya ini ya. Kapalnya Nabi Nuh, the aim is to save all of the species, ya kan? But then this burung pelatuk want to save, mau menyelamatkan diri juga dengan memakan kapal yang digunakan untuk menyelamatkan lebih luas. It may happen. So you must understand this stakeholder interest. Yeah. Okay, any questions here? So the results can solve in when you trap in the system development pitfalls, you may result solving the wrong problem or incorrectly solving the problem or picking the wrong solution or picking less than optimal solutions. Yeah. There any questions? No questions, yeah? Enough? Alhamdulillah. Hopefully there is things that enter your brain, yeah. Things that you can remember and understand. I believe you can remember things from here, and hopefully, I truly hope that we can implement something beneficial from this lecture, okay? Thank you for your attending and for your listening. Jovan, thank you for always on cam. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Everyone also, hopefully we can see you again on live, in live, yeah, not online. Then I'll see you soon later sometimes. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
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 Ibu.
Terima kasih, Bu.
Super.